Okay, so this is a similarity report once your instructors open it up. And whether they open it up through Turnitin.com or if they open it up through Brightspace, it's this exact same report. So they can zoom in and out down here in the bottom right. They can scroll through each page, obviously. They can move through pages with this little thumbnail over here on the left if they want to. It will let them know about their students' word count down here and how many pages there are. It will give them their student's name and the title of their paper. When they open up the similarity report, what's really nice is they don't have to close it out and open it up for every single student. If they have multiple submissions, they can click this little arrow just to move to the next student submission. They can go back a submission if they want. And it will also list out all the students in the class, and they can jump to different similarity reports without having to close it out and open it back up again. There's this helpful little question mark here. If they click on that, they can go straight to our guides for help on viewing and interpreting the similarity report. And then over here on the right, we have our layers. So this top black button here, these are our active layers. So right now, all we have active is similarity, which is this red layer. This is the similarity layer. This is the ETS E-Rater layer. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that on too. And you'll notice when I turn that on, it's these purple comments here. And we'll cover that here in a second. So when they get to the similarity layer here, they've got these buttons. So this button here is that student's score, their overall similarity score. And if they click on that, these are the largest, most relevant matches. So you'll see they are numbered and they're color coded. So our purple 3 here goes with our purple 3 here. So what it's telling us is that a 16% match, and percent is based on word count of the paper, that this match came from this source. And if I click on it, it will actually show me that match here within the context of the article itself. And I can actually click this button here if I want a full source view. And over here on the right, it will give me the entire article and my student's match within that article. So again, these are the largest matches. Within these larger matches reside smaller sub-matches. So for instance, if I was to click on this little arrow here, it would show me every single match within that large match. So right here, this is my overall match that matches at 18%. But you'll notice this website here used just this highlighted portion inside their article. So you'll see the largest match, and then you'll see all the other matches from different websites or students that used portions of that larger match inside their paper. So this student here who submitted to St. Joseph College used just this sentence from my larger match inside their paper. So it's going to show you those smaller sub-matches too. In addition to the match overview, those largest matches, and you can drill in, there is an all sources view here. So if I just click on that, it's going to give me one giant list of every single match, whether it's an internet source, a student submission, or from journals or articles. And again, all they have to do is click on it. It'll tell them where it came from. For internet sources, when they click on it, they can click on the link itself and jump straight to that source. Just keep in mind, you're leaving Turnitin when you do this, and we can't guarantee you what you're going to see on the other end. But they can jump to that if they want. Instructors can exclude sources. So if for some reason they wanted to get rid of these sources here, they could exclude them and it would drop off for both them and their students. Students cannot exclude. But that's how easy it is to take a look at those similarity sources. Now, one thing to keep in mind is Turnitin is never going to tell instructors when plagiarism has taken place. All we're showing is matches. It's up to the instructor to decide whether or not it's plagiarism, right? So just something to keep in mind there. This little filters button here, this allows us to, if we want to exclude quotes or bibliography. So if we chose to exclude quotes, it won't check any content that falls within quotation marks. If I choose to exclude by bibliography, it won't check any content that follows the words references, works cited, or bibliography. And these are on a paper by paper basis. They will be able to choose these exclusions on the assignment level if they create their assignment, whether it's in Brightspace or through Turnitin.com, they can choose these at the assignment level too, or they can choose them on the paper level when they open up a student's paper. They can also choose, like for instance here, maybe I don't want to see any matches that are 10 words or less. Or maybe I don't want to see any matches that are 3% or less. I can choose to exclude those as well. Keep in mind, percentage is based on word count. So if this was 1,000 word paper, a 3% match would be 30 words. So that might be significant. So I typically tell instructors use words or number of words unless you absolutely know you want to use percentage. And then if you choose these exclusions, then you can click apply changes. And you'll notice my 66% dropped down to 46% because I'm no longer checking anything after bibliography or anything within quotation marks. But then if I want to turn those off, I can click apply changes again, and it goes back to 66%. This last button here, these are just a list of anything that I've excluded. I can always come in and bring those back if I want to restore it, or I can click restore all and bring them all back. The other button here, which is brand new, these are our flags. So this is actually going to bring to an instructor's attention where a student has deliberately tried to fool the system. So for instance, here, if I click on hidden text, it'll show me that this student made these commas and these quotation marks white so that we wouldn't see them. Because maybe that student knows that the instructor has chosen to exclude quotes. So if they put white quotes in here, you won't see it and the system won't check between them. So it's going to bring that to your attention. There's also cases where students might add an additional paragraph, just gibberish, just to increase their word count and then make it white so you can't see it. This will bring that to your attention as well. And then there's also replaced characters. If you click on that, you could actually see in this case, this student used the Cyrillic E instead of the English E, because some students think that if the match isn't 100%, then it won't show the match at all. And that's not the case. Our algorithm doesn't work that way. So you'll still be able to see matches, even if they take out a word or use a thesaurus to change a word, you'd still be able to see it. But that's the similarity layer. This is the ETS E-Rater layer. And this is actually when they create their assignment, they can turn this on or off. This is artificial intelligence that automatically checks the students' papers for grammar, mechanics, style, usage, and spelling. And inside D2L, they can turn this on. If they turn it on, they can choose which areas it'll check for. And when it finds something, it appears as these little purple comments. So if the instructor clicks on it, they could add an additional comment for the student. But when a student clicks on it, they would just see the explanation. And if they click on View Handbook, it'll actually open up an online handbook for them. And they can move through different levels of that handbook. And they can move through the table of contents as well. But those, like I mentioned, are artificial intelligence. So it's not always 100% correct. Some instructors absolutely love it. And some actually say, submit your paper to their students, submit your papers, fix all the purple comments, and then resubmit. And then that's when they start grading. And then there's some that just say, I don't want to use it. So if when creating the assignment, they decide no for the ETS E-Rater, this layer will drop off completely. Them and their students wouldn't see it. They just have this similarity layer. And then down here, we have a couple of items. This is submission information. The student's submission ID. This is important if they have to create a tech support case. They'd want to include that ID so we can find that paper more easily. And then there's a download button here that includes the originally submitted file. If you just want to download that Word doc that they submitted, you can. Then there's a digital receipt, which is that submission information in printable form. And then there's this current view report here. It will actually create a comprehensive PDF document for them that will include everything we've seen. So here's that PDF. It shows the student's name, the title of their paper, their submission information, their matches within their paper itself. It will list out where those largest matches came from and what the largest matches were, any exclusions that were chosen. And if you use the ETS E-Rater, it will give you a list of all the ETS E-Rater comments as well. So it's a great document. Students can print this up, bring it to office hours, a tutor or a writing lab. Instructors and students can both open up the current view report. So the student's view and the student's capabilities are exactly the same. The only difference is students won't have this flags, and they won't have this because they don't have the ability to exclude sources. And the ETS E-Rater, oops, let me turn that on. Students don't have the ability to add a comment. Students would just see the explanation. But otherwise, besides those three things, the student view is exactly the same.